Today we're going to be talking about how do I manage my fears? And fear is a big one when it comes to things like making a jump from a, a job to working for yourself, or when you're switching grade levels, or all sorts of things. So it's going to be a good topic to chat about this morning. But first things first, if you're new around here, welcome. My name is Andrea Oram. I teach pre-K through 12th graders. Actually, I teach retired folks too, so I teach kind of everybody, and I love helping newer music teachers find their footing in different grade levels or just in their first teaching job. And I also love helping teachers who are in public at teaching public education or a full-time job of some sort shift to side gigs and freelancing, because that's something that I did and I did it well. So it's kind of something I liked to chat about. But fear and how our mind thinks about things is huge when it comes to stepping into the unknown. So let's talk about how do I manage my fears? Well, step one, I look at the fear and I ask, how real is it? How realistic? Is that thing I'm afraid of, because our mind can go to all sorts of places, like big places of like, oh, this big, and then it fabricates all these stories, right? Well, how realistic is that actually? If it's not realistic at all, I throw it out. If it is realistic in some way, I make plans. I'm a planner at heart. So I plan, well, if this were to happen, then I would do this. Or if this were to happen, then I would do that. Or I'm going to do this thing over here to plan and prepare in case that should happen. So that either it doesn't happen, or if it does, I already have a plan of what I would do. All right. So that's one thing I do. I also choose, and this is something I do every morning when I wake up, I choose to focus on faith rather than fear. So let's say I had a bad dream. Like, I had a really weird dream last night. It wasn't necessarily horrible, but it was like I woke up and went, that was really weird, and I don't want that to happen. Like, bleh, no thanks. And so I could have chosen to fixate and ruminate and think too hard on that, that vivid picture in my mind, right? Or I can choose to say, nope, that was just a dream, and I focus on what's true. Focus on what I know to be true. Focus on what I believe about the future. Focus on what I want to happen in the future. Because if I don't believe that I can do something, like let's say I'm wanting to make it like I did 2 years ago. Let's say I wanted to shift from teaching full-time in a public school to teaching for myself full-time. And not necessarily working full-time, but just teaching for myself. And that's all I do. Because that's what I wanted to do. That was my goal. And so let's say I was thinking about that 2 years ago before I actually made the jump. And I would think, oh, but what if, right? Oh, what if I don't find enough students? Oh, what if XYZ happens, right? And instead of focusing on all those what ifs in the negative sense, I focused on the positive what ifs, and I focused on what I wanted to see happen. I visualized vividly in my mind what it would look like to teach in the way that I wanted to teach, to work in the way I wanted to work. And I vividly pictured, what would it look like to do that every single day? How would it be, to wake up and to do this or to do that? And though it looks a little different now than when I visualized it 2 years ago, it's pretty accurate. It's pretty darn close. And that's cool, because that shows me that we can make something happen that we can see in our mind. And the more vividly we see it, the more clearly we can picture it, the more likely it is to happen the way we visualized it. Whereas if we don't see a clear picture, we just see a really vague picture or something like that, it's not going to happen the way we visualized it, because we weren't specific in how we saw it happening in our mind, right? Our minds are very powerful. And if you tell your mind that something has already happened, even if it hasn't, your brain believes it. So think about that a little bit. So that's partly how I manage my fears. Something will pop up and I'll be like, for 2 seconds. I'm like, nope, that's not how I'm going to respond. I get to choose how I'm going to respond to that thought. I get to choose how I'm going to respond to that fear. And I can choose to focus on it, or I can choose to shift and focus on believing what I know to be true and having faith that the things that I believe about the future and visualize in the future can happen. So let me know in the comments, how do you manage your fears? Because when I was new to teaching, I really didn't have any control of that. And I lived in an anxiety and struggle for a lot of time. And I wasted a lot of beautiful non-working hours focused on those things. And I choose differently. So I would love to hear some of your strategies for how you manage fear and how you focus on other things. Have a great rest of your day. If you are watching in the new and freelance music teacher community on Facebook, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Stay tuned for a giveaway post that's coming later today, so you can see what you need to do to be in participating in that giveaway. It's going to be fun. And then if you are watching on YouTube, you can subscribe and comment, because I'm going to be doing a giveaway once we hit 100 subscribers. So that's kind of fun. I like doing giveaways, if you hadn't just heard. And if you want to participate, that's all for you. All right. So I see my friend Carrie Fisher's in the comments. You dreamed about that last night, what your future will look like. Oh, I love that, friend. That is so amazing. All right. I'm going to pop out of here. It was so good to chat with you, and I will catch you again tomorrow. Bye for now.